Sometimes emotional and verbal abuse is harder to identify than physical because there's no visible scars. But there are emotional scars that can be psychologically damaging for a lifetime that can also leave behind physical effects. With no physical evidence, it's very easy for an abuser to confuse their significant other with subtle manipulations that are carefully constructed for only the significant other to understand. Subtle manipulations are control tactics used by the abuser to make the significant other feel like they're less valuable, lost, undeserving of respect, and or defeated with or without the abuser. These tactics bring about confusion and causes insecurities and self-doubt, so that the significant other ends up feeling completely broken. In many cases, where abuse goes on for years and years, and the abuser is a man and the significant other is a woman, the woman may even experience what is referred to as battered woman syndrome. In these types of cases, the woman feels that the abuser has full power over her, takes the blame for the abuser's behavior, finds it difficult to blame the abuser, and fears for her safety. The behavior of an abuser is a choice that is repeated during the relationship to gain and maintain power and control. Oftentimes, bullying is also involved where there is emotional and verbal abuse. Core elements of bullying were defined for the first time in 2014 by the Centers for Disease Control and Department of Education as unwanted aggressive behavior, observed or perceived power imbalance, and repetition of behaviors, or high likelihood of the repetition of aggressive behavior that involves a real or perceived imbalance of power. According to Dr. Holly Gartler, a psychologist at ASU Counseling Services, responses to both emotional and physical trauma are often similar and can result in disruptions in beliefs about oneself, relationships, and the world. Dr. Gartler also says that thoughts about safety, trust, power, esteem, and intimacy are often altered by the trauma of emotional and physical abuse. According to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, 48.4% of women and 48.8% of men have experienced at least one psychologically aggressive behavior by an intimate partner. And women experiencing psychological abuse are significantly more likely to report poor physical and mental health. And 95% of men who physically abuse their intimate partners also psychologically abuse them. MedicineNet.com reports that more than 40% of workers in the United States experienced bullying in the workplace. And the American Society for Positive Care for Children reports that 160,000 kids per day skips school for fear of being bullied, and that when bystanders intervene, bullying stops within 10 seconds, 57% of the time. Stand up to the spirit of abuse. Say never again. There's joy on the other side of your pain with Jesus.